Hello and welcome to another edition of UFO Video Addicts. Let me give you a quick preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first is a group of kids who saw a fleet of UFOs in Baja California in 2020. Also have this video from Mexico in 2003. Let's see, this is a old video from 1994 that was just recently uploaded, but it shows a fleet of UFOs over the water. And, I'm pretty sure I've played this before, but this actually happened again recently, a couple years ago. Let's see, this is a photo of what looks to be an alien taken in Alaska in 1930. Also have this stabilized footage of a cigar-shaped UFO. This is a video that depicts what looks like two gray aliens that was found on a rock in Armenia. This is a documentary, hour and 20-minute documentary about Robert Bauval and how he came to the conclusion that the Pyramid of Giza were most likely a representation of Orion's belt. And then last is this video about this experiment that was done on a group of mice that were, provided a perfect environment to thrive, and what ultimately happens to them when they, when the population reaches a certain level. But I think it's kind of like a microcosm of what we may be going through right now. But anyways, let's go to this first video here. Let me go full screen. Let me just back it up a little. Obviously, the bunch of kids, I think they see something strange and they start, you can see some of them take out their cameras and start videotaping. Yeah, did you see that? Just see those two just pop. Let me play that one more time. Yeah, you see there's a, some UFOs, or what looks to be UFOs out here, and then watch these two that just they pop up. Anyways, link to that will be in the description. Let's go to now this is from 2003, UFO in Mexico.
Ahí no está. Necesito tener en un lugar fijo porque cuando hago el acercamiento. ¿Qué carajo será eso? Ahí está.
Pasó, estaba a la vista del avión, pasó ahorita, tío.
Sí. No, nada, estoy usando como zoom. No, todavía no le hallamos.
¿Estás grabando?
Sí. Es que necesito apoyar bien en un lugar.
Anyways, check that out. Link will be in the description. Let's see. Let's go to this one. Yeah, now this is from 1994. Obviously these guys are, I think this guy, because the footage before, it's just him taking, seems to be just, playing with his camera. But check this out here.
They're being surrounded by friggin' UFOs of the Coast Guard. I want to say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lights we see there. They've been coming on, they were 7 lights. Oh, this is a big deal.
Anyways, later on he talks about how, he thinks that these things are tracking him. But, I think there's another video that of a similar situation that happened just a couple years ago, or maybe less than a year ago. But, at this point, it's kind of obvious, all these videos of these UFOs over our oceans, all these reports of our military encountering, these UFOs on a daily basis in our oceans, over our oceans. Yeah, we're not alone on the planet. Anyways, this is a video. The whole thing is just about this photo here. taken in the 1930s in Alaska, which seems to show what looks like a little alien dude, gray alien dude. Anyways, the link to this will be in the description. Oh yeah, now this one I want to play because it does, it's a stabilized footage of this cigar-shaped UFO. You know, I think there's at least 3 or 4 different types of these cylinder UFOs. You know, I think in the same way we have different vehicles to perform different functions. For instance, we have trucks for long haul, or we have jets, for other things. I think our neighbors, must have a similar situation where you have the typical flying saucer ones. I've seen some of the cube shape, and you got the cylindrical shape, you have the triangle shape. So I wonder if they're either from the different species or in order to perform different functions. But anyways, a link to this will be in the description. Now this video here, it's just about this rock that was found in Armenia. It talks about this possible Stonehenge, Armenian Stonehenge, and I think there's another rock here, which seems to show these round-headed people, but I think these are just stylized versions of humans doing their daily functions. I don't necessarily believe that this has to do with UFOs. Yeah, this is like I guess a Göbekli Tepe type of place. But anyways, a link to this video will be in the description. Let me go to now this video here. This is about Robert Bauval, and he talks about how he came up with the theory that the Pyramid of Giza may be a representation of Orion's belt. And then, basically all the shit that he took from other scientists and Egyptologists. But check this out here.
Ship, whatever. They didn't think like we do. And that's where you have to spend a lot of time with these texts. Now, I'm jumping the gun here because I want to tell you what happened that led me to look into all this deeply. Now, I stumbled, after my return from Egypt, sort of catching back the trip, I stumbled on a passage of these texts. Not a full translation. There was a friend of mine who had a coffee table book, and the luck of the gods would be that it mentioned the king wanting to go to the constellation of Orion. And it kind of stayed in my head. So I had this picture that I saw, the pyramid, the little one offset, and then this statement. And on one occasion, I was in the desert camping with a group of friends, and one of them, a French friend of mine, was a navigator. And that's, again, before the days of GPS and all this stuff. And he would use the stars. And he explained to me, very bright sky on that particular night. And he said, if you look at Orion, you see the central stars. Orion is like a rectangle, it's 4 bright stars. And in the middle is the famous belt, 3 stars. And he said, if you draw a line backwards, you'll pick the position of the rising of Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in the northern hemisphere. Once you've got Sirius and you know its bearing, that's it. You know where to direct yourself. And then, just like that, it's one of those, that's where the apple came. He looked again at the stars, and he was a bit apologetic. He said, I said they were in a row, but they're not in a row. There's the 2 bright ones are in a row, and the little one on top is offset. And to me, he was saying the same thing that I was saying about the photograph of the pyramids. And knowing that there was a connection between the king's desire to go to the stars and the pyramids he built, the penny dropped. The apple dropped from my head. I got very excited, but it wasn't. At first, I thought, somebody must have noticed this. It's one of those strange things. I'm sure I'll waste my time.
Yeah, see, I think that's the reason why he got so much hell from the Egyptologist and other scientists, because it seems to be so obvious. And I think they were a little jealous or envious that it wasn't obvious to them. So that's why, they basically called him a charlatan and phony or whatever and tried to discredit him. When, I mean, ultimately he has to be right. But anyways, the link to this documentary will be in the description. Definitely check it out. Now let me go to this last video. This video talks about this, again, it's nothing about, UFO aliens, but it's more of a commentary of what I think is happening to our society as far as the, our planet being overpopulated. But it was an experiment done where all these mice were given a perfect environment to thrive, and how ultimately they ended up destroying themselves. But then, anyways, let me just play a little bit of this and you can check it out.
As the population increased, most mice associated eating and drinking with the presence of others, and crowding developed in certain units. The third period, consisting of 300 days, found the population of mice leveling off. This was called the equilibrium period. Dr. Calhoun noticed that the newer generations of young were inhibited, since most space was already socially defined. At this time, some unusual behavior became noticeable. Violence became prevalent. Excess males strived for acceptance, were rejected, and withdrew. Huddling together, they would exhibit brief flurries of violence among themselves. The effects of violence became increasingly visible. Certain individuals became targets of repeated attack. These individuals would have badly chewed and scarred tails. Other young mice growing into adulthood exhibited an even different type of behavior. Dr. Calhoun called these individuals the beautiful ones. Their time was devoted solely to grooming, eating, and sleeping. They never involved themselves with others, engaged in sex, nor would they fight. All appeared as a beautiful exhibit of the species, with keen, alert eyes and a healthy, well-kept body. These mice, however, could not cope with unusual stimuli. Though they looked inquisitive, they were, in fact, very stupid.
Yeah, does that kind of remind you of social influencers? But anyways, check out this video. It's very, very interesting. And like I said, I think it, may be an example of what's happening to our society today. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like